Welcome to the RP Valley Voice. My name is Annika Baca-Meckern. Governor Walz has eased restrictions on social settings and new requirements began March 15th. Indoor dining capacity at bars and restaurants has increased from 50% to 75%, with a maximum of 250 people. The same is true for outdoor dining. Parties of no more than 6 people must remain 6 feet from other parties. Bar seating is open to parties of 4, and establishments must close for on-premise dining between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. All patrons must be seated at bars and restaurants. The new state guidelines for indoor and outdoor events and entertainment are now 50% of capacity, up from 25%, but still at a maximum of 250 people. On April 1, venues with occupant capacities greater than 500 may increase depending on the type of venue, whether seated or non-seated venue. Social distancing and masks will remain required, and no food or beverage consumption after 11 p.m.
COVID-19 vaccinations. As of March 10th, Fillmore County has approximately 78% of residents over the age of 65 vaccinated with at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. The Minnesota Department of Health and Governor Walz has asked counties to prepare for additional groups to be vaccinated soon. Fillmore County Public Health, FCPH, will continue vaccinating existing groups as needed, while moving to the next phase as targeted populations as directed by the state. Due to this expansion, County Public Health has opened a new registration system for people age 18 and over. Details, instruction, and the registration link may be found at this link, www.co.fillmore.mn.us/news, detail 25r90.php. This site may have very high traffic volume for a couple of weeks, and you may experience temporary disruptions. Be patient and try again if you experience delays.
As it warms up and more people are vaccinated, we start thinking about the potential for more indoor and outdoor events and activities. Plans are being made for Rushford Peterson Valley events while considering safety measures and the latest health department protocol. Events such as the River Trail Town 60-mile garage sale, Gameldog, Rushford Days, music in the Peterson Bandstand, the Bluffland Triathlon, and Taste of the Trail are all activities that we hope to have in some form or another in 2021.
This April, Grace Place will be celebrating 10 years in the city of Rushford. Here to tell us about how Grace Place began and how they will be celebrating is Grace Place founder Carla Burton.
So now we celebrate 10 years here in Rushford, and boy, the time has gone by quickly. Grace Place started in 1992 as a shelter for single moms and their children. I am the founder and the director of Grace Place. After about 10 years of having a shelter, we decided to do more than that. We wanted to help women and support them raising their children alone. And so we developed a Birth to 5 program that's located at 66 East 2nd Street, and we've been doing that for about 15 years. About 10 years ago, God put it on my heart to take a look at the Rushford community. And wasn't sure about coming down here, but step by step God showed us that this was the place He wanted us to be. I kept getting calls to local churches to do special music, and I even asked a friend to come down and kind of scope out empty storefronts. The board approved a certain amount of money for a new store down in Rushford, and I was able to secure that. It just so happened that the limit that they gave me was $500, and when I called the landlord at the 110 West Jesse Street location, he said that the rent would be $600, and I said, oh, that's too much, and he said, well, how about free? And that was a go for us, and so that year we started to plan to open the next spring. And we had an organizational meeting in the middle of February, and there was a big blizzard the night that we had the meeting, of course, and we had put the ad in the paper, so we felt we needed to come down. And when we came down and turned the lights on and started the meeting, there were 25 individuals that had gone out in that snowstorm, and we thought that that was another go to open the store. One of the things that's coming up in April to celebrate is we're going to be spinning this wheel next to me So customers can come on in and spin the wheel, and they'll get a deal on something. We'll also be doing a drawing for free t-shirts celebrating the 10th anniversary once a week, and we'll have buttons that celebrate the 10th anniversary and magnets going out to the first 10 customers, I think, that visit each day. We just want to really let the community know how grateful we are to them for supporting Grace Place, and all the proceeds stay towards work toward families that have children. I should tell you all about Gifts of Grace. Gifts of Grace are items from our store that are available for families in need. There are 6 items per family member available once a month. So if you're in need of clothing, if you're in need of basic kinds of household things like pots and pans or bedding, you can come and just fill out a really brief form. Let the cashier know that that's what you need, and you can go ahead and get those items for your family. We also have a free shelf which has toiletries, toilet paper, paper towels, dish soap, those kinds of things, laundry soap. If you're finding that your budget is tight and you're a single mom or a single dad with children, let us know and we'd love to help you out with that. Here we go, I'll be Vanna. And the other big thing is that we're going to be opening a shelter this fall in the Winona area. It's on 802 West Broadway in Winona, but it will serve all of southeast Minnesota. It can house up to 9 individuals. It is specifically for women and children. There is really no shelter for women and children in our area, and we are so excited to be able to do this. So come on down and help us celebrate our 10th anniversary in Rushford, and we can't wait to see you. Thanks.
Thank you, Carla.
The Rushford Peterson Valley Farmers Market has received an Arlen Folk Foundation grant that will ensure the market's sustainability through 2021 and beyond. New volunteer market coordinator Marie Botcher authored the grant, which will primarily be used for advertising and promotion. The plan is to have the farmers market beginning on June on Tuesday afternoons in front of the Well House Ministry Building, formerly known as the Old School Site. The National Rural Electric Cooperative Association, NRECA, recently announced My Energy Cooperative as the winner of the 2021 Electric Cooperative Purpose Award at its Power Exchange Conference. The award recognizes electric cooperatives who work with their membership to make outstanding contributions which result in visible, lasting improvements of the quality of life and the purpose of the cooperative in the community. Brian Cranbeer, President and CEO of My Energy, accepted the award. "Our team is humbled to be recognized for this distinguished award," Cranbeer said. "I'm also very proud of our employees and board of directors in what we have been able to accomplish on behalf of our membership with the creation of My Energy Cooperative." My Energy Cooperative is a member-owned electric distribution company.
GriefShare is a program open to anyone who has experienced a loss in their life. The group will meet at Rushford Lutheran Church and is open to the public. Here to tell us about it are co-leaders Glenn Copperud and Becky Stocker.
Hello, I'm Glenn Copperud.
And I'm Becky Stocker, and we are the leaders of the GriefShare grief support group that'll be starting April 6th, meeting at Rushford Lutheran Church.
GriefShare is a program that supports people who are grieving. We have just finished up a 13-week GriefShare program with, 8 people?
9.
9 people in it, and it was very successful, and so we're hoping we can continue this as an ongoing program.
Right, and there's 3 parts to GriefShare: a video where we get to, it's a 30 to 40 minute video where we get some advice, information from the experts, and then there's a group discussion part where you get to just share your own experience of grief, and a workbook section where it's guided with questions and reflections to help you work through some of your own unique grief that you're going through.
So it's something new. We're hoping that the word will spread and that people in the area who really are hurting will have a place where they can go and they can find support.
We'll be meeting on Tuesdays starting April 6th through June 29th, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Rushford Lutheran Church in the Fellowship Hall. It is a 13-week session. You can join at any time. And if you would call the church or call me or Glenn, we'd appreciate if people would pre-register, just so we have an idea of how many people might be there.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Glenn and Becky.
In tonight's emergency service update, we will be speaking to Sergeant Nate Klinski of the Rushford Police Department.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Nate Klinski of the Rushford Police Department. I've been serving the Rushford City for 6 years, along with Darren DeVoe and part-time officers Nisbet, Stensgaard, and Mensing. We serve under the command and along with Chief Adam Ide. Our department responds directly to calls for service in the city of Rushford and provides and receives backup to officers and deputies in Fillmore, Houston, and Winona County. We also respond to medical calls in the city limits. I'd like to take this opportunity to explain some of the recent scams that residents have experienced lately in our area. Overall, the scams usually start with an unsolicited call or contact, usually by telephone. When you receive these calls, one sign that it may be a scam is the number will come up unlisted. Unfortunately, the caller ID technology is they have the ability to spoof that caller ID information, and so they can make it appear that they are a relative or your very own number or even a local police department. They will pose as the IRS. They may call you and tell you you have taxes due. They may tell you you have a tax refund coming to you. They may threaten you with arrest. They may say that they are a police or sheriff's organization or an attorney's office and that there is legal action in the works against you. As I stated before, they may say that you have won a contest, and in order to secure your winnings, you will need to pay the taxes or fees associated to get that money. They may also tell you that there's a virus on your computer, and that you need to go to a certain website and install certain software to fix a virus that you may have on there. And unbeknownst to you, you'll actually be installing a virus that will give them access to your computer and your information. What their goal is to collect information from you and ultimately take money from the victims. The way that they will do that is they will seek to get cash, credit card numbers, and also they'll attempt to seek payment with gift cards or prepaid cards. They will ask you to maintain secrecy on their contact with you. They will tell you to not tell anyone else. They will tell you, they may threaten you that the trouble you were in will get worse if you do tell anyone. They know that if you let anyone else know that they're in contact with you, they will probably tell you that you're being scammed and they will not be able to get the money from you. In order to protect yourself, you should know that legit organizations and businesses do not use threats over the phone, and they do not seek or give payment with gift cards. Anyone that's legitimate is going to likely send you a letter or visit you in person. Since these scams are somewhat well known, businesses such as post offices and stores that sell gift cards are trained and have been informed of these scams and their tactics. They are not trying to invade your privacy. They are only trying to protect you. And they do that at the request of law enforcement, because we know that unfortunately once you buy those gift cards and send them the codes on there, the money is nearly impossible to retrieve again. If you believe you have been victimized by a scam artist or are in the process or simply aren't sure, please contact the police or your local sheriff's office as soon as possible. If we get on it soon enough, there's a small chance we may be able to retrieve some of the funds that if you haven't sent them already. To summarize the scams and the threat of being victimized, the best way to stop that from happening is to avoid taking calls from numbers you don't recognize. Obviously, you may get a phone call that you do need to take. If so, that person should just leave a voice message and you can get back to them. The final thing I'd like to take the opportunity to inform you about and just provide a gentle reminder is that it is, we're in the midst of the spring weather, and that's a great thing. But along with that is the fact that the spring thaw can cause flooding. And so two things, prepare your house and your home for a possibility of water. Make sure your downspouts are set up and make sure you monitor your basement if water has been an issue before. And the second thing is, as you're out and about on the roadways, remember, do not try and cross submerged roadways. If you can't see the road, do not try and cross it. And if you do see a roadway covered with water, please notify the authorities, call 911 and let them know. Again, I am Sergeant Klinski of the Rushford Police Department, and I'd like to thank the RP Valley Voice for the opportunity to speak to your audience. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Sergeant Klinski. And now, a minute with Peterson Mayor Tim Hallum, followed by a City of Peterson update with Jen Hengel.
Welcome, I'm Tim Hallum, Mayor of Peterson. Give you a little update on Peterson from last month. The city's still talking about a community garden. Had some residents, we had one resident come forth and talk about, we haven't heard anybody else come forth yet. So hopefully people will come forth for the April to let us know if they want to proceed with this idea of a community garden. Peterson Museum construction was talked about, and the bids and everything will be going through the committee down through the museum, receiving bids and all that for the expansion of the construction side of the museum. Update on the sign on the trail, we are still looking at that. I guess council did look at some drawings from a company out of California, so now we're going to send off back to them with some ideas on colors and things like that for the sign. So hopefully in the next month or two we'll see something to come back from them. So check in with us next month and hopefully we have some new ideas. Thanks.
The City of Peterson Mayor Tim Hallum and Council members Dave Colbinson, Gail Boyum, Tracy Seelbinder, and Chris Stensel met on March 10th. The Peterson Council also discussed possible expansion of the city campground. However, any increase beyond the 10 existing spots would require installation of showers, and due to the costs associated with these requirements, it was determined not to pursue expansion at this time. The Peterson Council decided to continue to pay for dust application services on its gravel roads and not pass on any charges to the residents who live on these roads. Lastly, the Peterson Council talked about utility shutoffs. In 2020, they decided not to shut off utilities or charge late fees due to the stress the pandemic may have had on utility customers. At this past March 10th meeting, the council again determined the city would continue this relief in 2021. So customers will not be charged late fees or have their utilities shut off. The City of Peterson is considering a city garden with plots available for residents. There has not been much interest shown yet, but perhaps with the warmer temperatures, people will begin thinking about gardens. Any Peterson resident who is interested in a garden plot should contact Clerk Chris Grindland at City Hall. And for a fun fact about Peterson, just recently they've developed a historic walking tour. 10 signs were created by Gopher Sign Company of St. Paul and have been placed at locations of historic interest throughout the city. The signs are numbered, and the first sign can be found along the bike trail between Prospect Street and Park Street, although one does not have to travel in sequence to enjoy the signs. Thanks goes to John Erickson, the curator of the Peterson Station Museum, for providing the information and historic pictures.
Well, the way this sign tour got started was we realized that we really wanted a walking tour of Peterson, but we needed places for people to go and things to see and to understand who we've been in the past. So we talked to John Erickson, who is the curator of the Peterson Station Museum, and he came up with wonderful ideas, but we had to narrow it down to 10. And so that's what we have done so far, and if we decide to go further in the future, we will. But he came up with the pictures, the narrative, the dates, everything is accurate, and so it's really a fun walking history of Peterson. Well, it was funded through our public health department, Fillmore County Health Department, because it's a walking tour. So it's another way for us to exercise, and I have to say I'm never sick of looking at these signs, and so I can go out once a week probably for a long time and just stop and see all of them. So they gave them the $3,000 towards this project because it was the end of the year and that's all they had to donate. And then we had a few other donations to cover the final cost. Well, actually today we are making a map, and those maps will be at Birdie's, and they'll be at, probably put some at the Legion and definitely at the museum, and they'll be numbered, so if people want to go sequentially, they can. And so there'll be a map of the town with the signs numbered.
Thank you, Tim and Jen.
We normally save City of Rushford and City of Rushford Village updates for the first episode of the month, but we want to remind City of Rushford residents about the March 22nd public hearing regarding the parking regulation ordinance. The proposed ordinance is available to read on the city's website or request an email copy from City Hall. This parking ordinance addresses many topics such as parking hours, truck parking, limits on the number and type of vehicles parked on residential streets, and more. Written comments can be emailed, mailed, or dropped off at City Hall. For more information, to submit comments, or to request to attend the hearing in person or via Zoom, email Clerk Kathy Zacher. Again, the public hearing is March 22nd at 7 p.m.
And now for an update from the RP Valley Chamber of Commerce.
And now for the Chamber of Commerce report. A reminder to local businesses that the deadline to apply for the federal SBA Payroll Protection Program Phase 2 is March 31st. Businesses and nonprofits may apply through Merchants Bank or Rushford State Bank. These loans may be forgivable, so contact your local lender to learn more. Any business that applied for the most recent round of the Fillmore County Business Relief Grant funded by the state of Minnesota should have been notified whether their application was approved or denied. Fillmore County Commissioners made their decision on grants at their March 2nd meeting. The county has $415,000 to distribute to businesses and nonprofits impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Chamber is now out of our Rushford Peterson Valley Visitors Guide and will be making updates before printing more. To view the guide, go to the Chamber's website and send me an email if you have suggested updates. These guides are distributed across Minnesota at the Minnesota Welcome Centers as well as our regional visitor centers, and invite people to appreciate the Rushford Peterson Valley as a destination for their travels. A reminder that the City of Rushford Economic Development Authority has a micro grant program available for businesses, organizations, and individuals. A grant for up to as much as $500 may match the applicant's funds for events that bring people to Rushford, with special consideration for those events that draw people downtown. The events must be open to the public and may include music, theater, dance, comedy, competitions, or other activities. And now for some business updates. SEMCAC Rushford Food Shelf is seeking your support during March, Minnesota's Food Share campaign. As an official participant, SEMCAC's food shelves receive a percentage of March Food Share funds based on donations raised during the campaign and the number of people served during the year. Your monetary donation will be appreciated and can be mailed to the Rushford Food Shelf. Featherstone Farm is now offering its vegetable CSA or Community Supported Agriculture Summer Program. Subscribe to receive weekly veggies or weekly shares of in-season vegetables from June to October. Members may customize what vegetables they get in their boxes, reschedule shares when they're out of town, receive cooking and recipe tips in Featherstone's weekly e-newsletter, and connect to this local farm community and its values. Learn more at Featherstone Farm's website and subscribe to today to ensure your share of fresh veggies grown right here in the Rushford Peterson Valley. Sweet 16 Farm, just outside of Rushford, is offering pre-order of vegetable garden seedlings for the 2021 growing season. The hope is to have Sweet 16 Farm's annual Mother's Day weekend plant sale, but in playing it safe, they're also planning for pre-orders that can be filled online and offer contactless pickup. Pre-orders are recommended as last year was sold out. So Sweet 16 Farms Flower CSA is community-supported agriculture is also available for orders through June. Nordic Lanes has Friday and Saturday night bowling specials from 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. Enjoy unlimited Cosmic Thunder Alley bowling for one low price and free shoe rental. Rushford American Legion is having a steak dinner fundraiser on March 20th from 4:30 to 7 p.m. Support the Legion by dining out or picking up a steak meal that includes a baked potato and vegetable. Northland Lefse is reopening on April 2nd. Call now to order your lefse for Easter. They will be opening 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Saturday. My Energy Cooperative is planning an annual meeting for April 14th at 7 p.m. This will be at the Mabel Community Center, and attendance is limited to 75. The meeting will also be available to watch online. Ascentech will hold its annual meeting virtually on April 20th at 7 p.m. Members will receive more information by mail this month.
The Rushford Area Society of the Arts will be holding their annual meeting on Sunday, March 28th at 6:30 p.m. at Birdie's Cafe in Peterson. The meeting is open to the public, but attendance will be limited based on capacity guidelines. If you are interested in attending, please call Board President Kristen Birdie at 507-459-0731 or message their Facebook page. Rushford Peterson School News. Congratulations to the speech team members on their wonderful performance at March 6th's Chatfield Invitational. Hannah Linder took first place in Serious Prose, Annika Baca-Meckern got first place in Drama, Zanessa Anderson got first place in Storytelling, and Olivia Thompson placed 8th in Humorous. The speech team competed again on March 13th. Julia Maynard and Isabel Olson placed 5th in Duo at the Fillmore Central meet. A few members competed at the Eakin High School meet, and those included Hannah Linder, who placed 38th out of 72 people in prose, and Zanessa Anderson made it to the merit finals and placed 17th out of 47 in storytelling. The Three Rivers Conference speech meet will be held on March 20th at Cotter High School. School Board. As we mentioned last month, school board member Kathy Wade resigned from the board. Former school board member Bonnie Princeton has now been appointed to fill Wade's term that ends the first Monday in January 2023. Also with Wade's resignation, board member Ken Soley was appointed as the new treasurer. The school board approved the senior class trip, and several seniors will be traveling to Florida March 28th through April 3rd. The board accepted the resignation of Jackson King, industrial tech teacher, at the end of the 2020 to 2021 school year. Lastly, the board considered quotes for a new lawnmower. The next school board meeting will be April 19th at 5:30 p.m. in the school's forum room. RP Sports Updates. A reminder that all home and away games and meets can be viewed virtually by accessing the links available at the R-P Schools website homepage. Go to r-pschools.com and find RP Activities live video streaming on the left side menu. Wrestling. On March 2nd, Lewiston Altura Rushford Peterson wrestling team triumphed over Wabasha Kellogg 66-15 and lost to Dover Yoda 36-46. On March 4th, the Grapplers beat La Crescent Hoka 78-6 and lost to Plainview Elgin Millville in a close 30-36 match. The team's record is 16 wins and 13 losses. The Section 1AA tournament will begin March 10th at the Casan-Maynardville High School, and the LARP wrestlers lost to Lake City 46-21 in the quarterfinals. The individual wrestling section tournament began on March 17th at Cannon Falls High School. Basketball. Since our last episode, the RP girls basketball team lost to Winona Cotter 21-68 and Lewiston Altura 57-59. They won over Mabel Canton 50-21 and Leroy Ostrander 74-31, and lost to Southland 56-60 and the Crescent Hoga 35-64. The girls ended the regular season with 4 wins and 14 losses. They have been seeded 11th in the Section 1A tournament and will play Southland on March 18th at 7 p.m. On the boys' side, the RP team lost to Caledonia 69-72, but then won against Mabel Canton 69-27, Winona Cotter 52-29, Lanesboro 64-43, Spring Grove 46-40, and the Crescent Hoka 65-37. The boys ended the regular season with a record of 11 wins and 6 losses. They began Section 1A tournament play on March 16th with a game against Bethel Academy, which they won 74-43. The team is seeded at 4th and will next play Wabasha Kellogg, the 12th seed, on March 19th at 7 p.m. at RP Schools. Wabasha Kellogg beat 5th seeded Spring Grove on March 16th.
Hi, I'm Derek Berg. Welcome to Olden Days Today. We take a step back into time. We're going to look at the local creamery business. Back in 1880, they opened the very first creamery in Fillmore County, right here in Rushford, by Hostvedt and Horn. And it was called the Arctic Creamery, located approximately where the Dennis Overland Insurance Building is right now. Eventually, they also opened a bathhouse, so you didn't have to go to Winona for a bath. And they also opened a dray line so they could haul their milk. And people could use that to haul their milk to town. Well, Hostvedt died in 1888 from problems that he got during the Civil War. During the late 1880s, the farmers began to grumble about prices that they had been paying or receiving for their butterfat. So they started opening up co-op creameries, and the Peterson Creamery also opened up. This caused Horn to finally close his doors in 1890, and he wrote a scathing letter to the public, blaming everybody but himself for all his failures. The farmers were patronizing every Tom, Dick, and Harry creamery that popped up after we supported them from the very beginning. You could stand behind us, or you could surely watch us fold. He especially blamed the Peterson Creamery and all the co-op creameries. I know there were co-op creameries in Arndal, Yucatan, and Vinegar Hill, Bob and Moore. Arctic Creamery was still there. They were receiving 7 cents per pound of butterfat, and the co-op creamery was paying 17 cents. So there was a great deal of jump in the profits of the farmers. They started out where the Horahan lands are in downtown Rushford, quickly outgrew to the creamery that we know as the restaurant of the creamery, was then opened as their permanent stance. Across the road was also a box making factory to be able to ship the butterfat butter in the boxes to Chicago and areas. Rushford Co-op Creamery, you can still see at the restaurant where the cans used to go in and out, and I remember myself bringing milk cans down there with my grandfather. For Olden Days Today, I'm Derek Berg.
Signing off, I'm Annika Baca-Meckern, and thank you for watching the RP Valley Voice.